Welcome to the Volkswagen Post-Game Report. Drive bigger. Here now, Mike Tirico.
Levi's Stadium's first home playoff game for the 49ers is their first playoff win since the win over Carolina in the 2013 season. 27-10, San Francisco dominating the Minnesota Vikings to move on to the NFC Championship game, the late game next Sunday. The next game, the AFC playoff game tonight, doesn't kick off till 8:15 Eastern time, 5:15 out here, so we'll be with you for plenty of time to wrap this game up. And to wrap it up, San Francisco's defense limiting Dalvin Cook and the Vikings rushing attack to 21 total yards and limiting Minnesota to 7 first downs, the third fewest first downs by a team in an NFL playoff game. The stars of this game's got to be one on defense and the dominance up front on offense. Game balls go to Richard Sherman, who had the key interception in that second half. George Kittle, forget the 3 catches, sensational blocking. And Tevin Coleman, that triumvirate running back, over 100 yards for the 49ers. Standing by now with Michelle Tafoya.
Mike, thank you, George. How would you describe this feeling? First playoff game in this building. You got to beat a good Minnesota Vikings team. What's the sentiment? What's the feeling?
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, we just wanted to come out and play good football. I think we did pretty good in all 3 phases. A lot of things to clean up, but we played well enough to get the win, and, you know, that's all you can ask for. Playoff football, you know, anyone can win, and we just made more plays today.
How can you quantify, if you can, how much that rest meant to you, that bye week?
Oh, it was incredible. We got to get a lot of guys back. A lot of guys, you know, were banged up. You know, we got D Ford back. We got Kowalski back. We got Quan back. I mean, with our defense like that, it's pretty fun to play football.
Next week, it's either Seattle for a 3rd time this year or Green Bay, who you pummeled here on a Sunday night football game. How will you be watching that game tomorrow?
I'm just going to watch it, try to enjoy it. I know Coach will have a game plan for us ready pretty quickly, so I'm just going to watch and have fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's turn to Tevin Coleman. I like the chain.
Appreciate that. Appreciate it.
You know, Kyle Shanahan says he goes with the guy who's got the hot hand. Mm-hmm. Why did the hot hand belong to you today?
You know what I'm saying? We practice so hard. We work so hard, you know what I'm saying? And things just worked out, you know what I'm saying? All the backs, they work hard. All the backs, they fight hard. And, you know what I'm saying? Any one of us can be in there and make plays. So
today it was you. And from what we saw, the offensive line was so fast off the ball. From your position as a running back, what did you see from your front?
Man, you know, so those guys did very well, you know what I'm saying? They moved the guys back so I can have clear holes to run through. So, yeah, they did a real good job.
And how would you describe this feeling? You're heading to the NFC Championship game, and you guys get to host.
Man, it's an amazing feeling, man. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be with this team right here. And just to feel it for them, you know what I'm saying? Just to feel the energy and everything. It's an amazing feeling to be here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congrats.
Mike?
All right, Michelle, thank you. With Tony Dungy and Rodney Harrison. Guys, you as a player and a coach won 12 playoff games. You won 10 playoff games. Before we jump ahead and break this game down, just the joy of being a part of a winning postseason game. You were talking to John Lynch at the end over here.
I did. I told John I was so proud of him, and we did talk about 97 and our first win and just how special it is when you get all of these people behind you and you realize, hey, we've taken that first step.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Minnesota, Mike, and it was just so difficult to go on the road, have an emotional win with the Saints, and come back and play on the West Coast against the #1 seed. That's why it's so important to have that home field advantage.
They were dominated on the ground in the second half. San Francisco ran the ball 47 times in this game, 29 times in the second half. Let's jump to Jimmy Garoppolo. A lot of attention on his first playoff start. Your assessment of how he played today?
I thought he played really well, and I thought Kyle Shanahan, the coach, had a great game plan. Early in the game, play action, get the ball out quick, throw it off the play action, give him some easy reads, and he was sensational finding these open receivers.
The thing that really impressed me most about him, Coach, was his toughness. We were in there watching the game. He hurt his ankle, and I thought it was over for him, but he came in there, made some big plays, and that's what I've been saying all year. He is one of the toughest quarterbacks out there.
Garoppolo just 11 of 19 passing, so the numbers don't jump out at you, but was efficient, did throw the 1 interception, wasn't on target as often as we've seen him earlier in this run.
And this is what he's going to have to learn. You come out, you're feeling great, I can get the ball in everywhere. You don't have to take those kind of chances when you're dominating up front like they did, and this is what he'll learn.
And credit to Kyle Shanahan. in the second half, Garoppolo wasn't as sharp with some of the timing stuff. They just ran the ball. It was working.
That's all you have to do, Mike.
Well, you know what? We saw the Sugar Hill Gang at halftime.
Yeah.
The 49ers gave us some old school football today. Control the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively. Run and stop the run, and you're going to win.
That was a good one right there.
I knew you were going to work that in. Way to go, Coach. Jimmy Garoppolo in his first playoff start gets a victory. So the first-time starters in this postseason have split their games. Josh Allen in Buffalo losing the wild card game last weekend in Houston. Brian Tannehill won in Foxborough. Carson Wentz, of course, injured here on NBC against Seattle last Sunday. Garoppolo gets the win, and he will move on. Tom Brady's the last quarterback to win the Super Bowl in the same season as his first postseason start, happening, of course, in 2001. Jimmy Garoppolo, who tutored under Brady, now has the chance to be the next one since. We talked about the run game. So much credit to the dominance that they had up front and established in this game.
Yeah, and you heard them go and talk about how they had to control the line of scrimmage,
Right.
and they did it up front. It was blowing people off the ball, those backs making one cut and going downhill.
Yeah, we talked in the pregame about them having 3 really good backs. I thought Raheem Mostert was going to come out, and that was a surprise. And then they get Tevin Coleman here, but just dominating up front. I mean, Tevin Coleman is a really good back, but you kind of look at Minnesota. They just completely got handled at the front line of scrimmage, Coach.
And it really was that zone blocking scheme that got those backs into the secondary. They were coming downhill all day into the Minnesota secondary.
Coleman had 22 carries. Mostert had 12. Breida had 8. We know Coleman had over 100 yards in that touchdown that you saw there. The 47 rushing attempts for the 49ers, that's a playoff franchise record. And this is a franchise that's played a bunch of playoff games, so they really established it on the ground. Then on the flip side of that, when you have a defense that can stop the other team's run, which is what Dalvin Cook in Minnesota does best, that gives you a great chance to dominate the game, and that's what we saw.
To me, of all the things I saw today, that would give me the most confidence as a 49er fan. That defensive line flew around, they penetrated, they dominated the line of scrimmage. Dalvin Cook is a really good back. Minnesota knows how to run the ball. They couldn't make a yard today, and it was that front that got it done.
Yeah, that front was tremendous getting after the quarterback. They did everything they could to get Dalvin Cook the ball. They tried to run him in between the tackles. They worked on screens. But the speed of that defense and them being healthy, it just took over the game.
And then once Minnesota got one-dimensional and just had to drop back and throw it, the pass rushers came through. Nick Bosa, Armstead, D Ford. It was just wave after wave after wave of pressure.
And I love what they did up front. They moved those guys around. D Ford is a defensive end, but he played inside. Eric Armstead played inside. Joey Bosa played inside. Those guys are just out there balling, having fun, Mike.
And then Bosa, we thought he was injured. He gets up and he yucks it up with the crowd.
Lazarus.
He had 2 sacks in his NFL playoff debut. The likely defensive rookie of the year in the NFL. Armstead, Buckner each had 1. First-round draft picks all invested by John Lynch, the GM, on those guys. D Ford off the hamstring injury also comes up with a sack.
You know, John played in the secondary in Tampa. He had a bunch of #1 draft choices in front of him. Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp, Booger McFarland. And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get that front group dominant, and he's got that.
You know why? Because he's a defensive back, and he understands how important it is to have all those guys up front, because as a DB, you can jump routes, you can guess, you can take chances and be more aggressive, Mike.
Now you speak of defensive backs, the second-team All-Pro, Richard Sherman, the veteran leadership on this team, came up with an interception, and he had a familiar location, a victorious postseason locker room to celebrate.
We earned the opportunity to play again. Enjoy it for the 24 hours, but we just earned the opportunity to play again. Let's go do it. Let's keep it up. Niners on 3. 1, 2, 3. Niners!
Yeah! And the hug with Garoppolo and Shanahan as they each get their first playoff win. Not the over-the-top euphoria, because they know there's more business 8 days from now right on this field.
They expect it, Mike. They expect this.
Absolutely. Hosting Seattle or Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. For more on this game, let's bring in Liam McHugh, Mike Florio, and Chris Sims. Guys?
Thanks, Mike. How about Tony Dungy breaking down the game, dropping pop culture references? I thought we were going to get a little rapper's delight there for a second.
That would have been great. That would have made it up for today.
You look at the 49ers, they give up just 147 total yards. That's a playoff record for their defense. Dominance here today. Big takeaway for you?
The big thing that's jumped out to me is last week we saw the Vikings dominate the Saints on both sides of the ball, offense and defensive line. And I thought, wow, they're going to feed off that. This 49er matchup's going to be tough. But the 49ers dominated the line of scrimmage. And really, the Vikings could get nothing going. I think that's where I start, just right there. The 49ers looked like the team we saw the first 10 weeks of the season with that dominant defense in the run game.
Yeah, and the 49ers did to the Vikings what the Vikings wanted to do to the 49ers. They wanted to be able to run the ball, and they just couldn't. And if the Vikings can't run the ball, they can't do anything else. Everything in their offense flows from the ability to get that defense back on their heels, worrying about Dalvin Cook. And if you can't get that engine started, nothing's going to work, and we saw that today.
All right, so you look at the 49ers defense, how they stopped him. We talked about Kirk Cousins, things that were working for him leading up to this game, and then all of a sudden went away. What did you see?
Well, I think the great team speed of the front seven from the San Francisco 49ers. First of all, like Mike talked about, they couldn't get Dalvin Cook going sideline to sideline because Quan Alexander, Jaquaski Tarter back. The defensive ends are so fast, so they were all over the run game. And then the discipline of Bosa and Dee Ford to constantly be there, right? Every time we saw Cousins do the bootleg, somebody was in his face and he had to try to get the ball out of his hand.
And Dee Ford was the key. He'd been injured. He'd missed time. To get him back with those other defensive linemen, they were dominant, and that's how they've tried to build this defense around that dominant defensive line. You get them all healthy, you get them all ready to go, and they're hard to stop.
All right, dominant effort by the 49ers. They move on. Let's go back to Mike Tirico.
Well, Liam, the fans are chanting Bosa because he's here. We'll talk to Nick Bosa, 2 sacks in his first playoff game as the 49ers advance to the NFC Championship game. Back with Nick Bosa as we continue from Santa Clara. For the 10th time, the San Francisco 49ers will host the NFC Championship game. First time it will be here at Levi's Stadium after the 27-10 defense-dominated win led by the defensive front and Nick Bosa, the number 2 pick in this past year's draft, who joins us here on set. Nick, obviously a little tougher than Rodney Harrison. You're shirtless there, no shirt sleeves. Rodney's got the winter jacket.
He's younger than me, Mike.
I know
Like 20-some years.
Nick, talk about the mindset of the team coming off the off week, but having to pick up that playoff intensity right away. What was done during the week to ensure that happened here on this field?
Just extreme focus. Whenever you get a week off, you got to take full advantage. There was no partying, there was no going out, there was no flying out of town. We were locked in. And we know what opportunity we had, so we weren't going to squander it.
I know you guys love to get after the passer, but I was so impressed with how you defended the run today and took away Dalvin Cook. What went into the preparation, and how did you do that?
I mean, that was the #1 emphasis all week. We knew we were facing probably the best back we've played all year with Dalvin, and we knew we had to earn the right to pass rush. So that's what we did. We took the run as serious as we could, shut it down, and then we ate.
Talk about the #1 seed and how important it was getting that extra week of rest.
Absolutely huge. We could have been in Philly and flying back here. Just getting that week off, getting your legs back, does wonders for a D-line at least.
No doubt.
Nick, I want to look at some of your highlights from the game today with the guys here. Everybody talks about how your first playoff game, it goes faster. What did you notice about being on the field in the postseason for the first time?
Oh, I mean, it's just football. It's NFL football. It's always fast. So, yeah, I mean, we just,
What about you dropping in coverage, man? Talk about you dropping in coverage.
Honestly,
you got skills like that?
I mean, I've been working on it all week, and I got my opportunity. I made the most of it.
Hopefully you just get one. You want to get after that passer, right?
We were worried about you here when you went down.
That was just the breath knocked out of me.
Okay.
I'm probably going to get fined by the D-line for that one.
How does it feel when you pull up on us and all these fans are yelling and screaming your name? It has to humble you.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I ended up in such a great place with such a great fan base. The faithful came out today, and I love every one of them.
Well, you guys got Dee Ford back today, but you got a cast of characters up front. Do you guys feed off each other? Is there a competition to get to that quarterback?
Getting D back, getting Quan back, getting Tart back. I mean, those are just huge pieces that we hadn't had for a long time this year. And just getting them back, it's a completely different energy out there.
Saw your brother Joey greet you before the game. He had 11 sacks this year with the Chargers. What kind of words did he share with you before the game today?
He actually played the Vikings a few weeks ago, so he definitely gave me some inside info. But no, he just told me play my game, don't get frustrated with the screens and the quick passes, and just keep rushing.
And you've played Green Bay and beat them here on a Sunday night, dominated them, and you've had 2 epic games with Seattle. Does that impact your emotions as you watch the game tomorrow?
I mean, I'm excited to watch it. We've played both teams, so we know. We're just going to see who wins and prepare.
Is there a part of you that would like to see Seattle one more time and finish that off and get that 2-1?
Honestly, I have no preference at that. My cousin plays for Green Bay, so it'd be good to see him.
Exactly. Robert Saleh, your defensive coordinator, has been discussed as a potential head coaching candidate. Talk about what he has meant to this defense your first time here in the league with him as your coordinator.
I've learned a lot. He just puts us in the best position possible. He's built this defense, a lot of his guys, and he's a really good motivator. He's always got stories for us with deeper meanings and just makes you think a lot. I love him as a person, and he's a great coach.
And your thoughts on the way the offense played today? Jimmy Garoppolo, your teammate, his first playoff game as well. He's now 22-5 as a starter in his NFL career.
I'm just wondering when people are going to start respecting him. It doesn't seem like Jimmy gets the respect he deserves, but it was a team effort, and I'm proud of all my guys.
We appreciate you coming out. Congratulations. 2 sacks in your first playoff game. It's pretty sweet.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Hey, man, go put a coat on, man.
Yeah,
You know
no
you're
doubt.
cold.
I'm getting a little cold here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Bosa's.
Way to go, Nick.
They sack anybody, no matter whether it's Joey or Nick, who had 2 today in the 49ers victory. 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific's the kickoff of the AFC Divisional playoff. So we'll have more from Santa Clara as we continue after this. Back here in Santa Clara, the divisional playoff is done and dusted for the 49ers. The Vikings season will end with a stellar win at New Orleans in the wild card game, but the short week, the trip out west, too much. San Francisco's defense, 6 sacks, 2 from Nick Bosa. Eric Armstead also got one. He's standing by with Michelle Tafoya.
Mike, thanks, Eric. 6 sacks for this defense today. You had one of them. Why were you guys so effective?
Man, we were relentless out there, and we executed our game plan. The coaches put up a good game plan, and the guys did a great job executing and being relentless.
Having Dee Ford and Quan Alexander, who hadn't been with the team for many, many weeks, having those guys back, what did it do for you guys, not only on the field, but emotionally?
It was huge to have those guys back. They're leaders on our team, talented players that make big plays for us. So, we were missing some pieces out there, but to get those guys back, we hit back all on cylinders.
Tomorrow you get to relax a little bit and watch a game between a couple teams Seattle at Green Bay. What will you be looking for? You faced Seattle twice this season. You beat Green Bay soundly here. How will you watch that game, and what do you look for?
I'll be watching as a fan. I want to see a good game, of course, but I'll definitely be watching the O-line play and the guys that I'm going to have to face. And besides that, just watching the game and seeing who gets to come to Levi's.
It's a big smile on your face. How does this one feel?
Man, it's amazing, especially with the adversity we've had, with this organization to have this year and continue playing in this postseason. It means that much more to us.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mike?
All right, Michelle, thank you. Yeah, they're sitting back and watching tomorrow night the game on Fox and hoping it goes double overtime. You guys just knock yourselves out because you're going to have to come out here. 6:40 Eastern time will be the kickoff of the NFC Championship game. Either the third in what would be a trilogy. The first 2 were sensational in Seattle and San Francisco, or Green Bay. That has been discussed, and we'll discuss each one in a moment. You guys have been in this position. You get asked the question. You say, it doesn't matter. But you can answer the question. What about a Seattle-San Francisco third round?
I really believe that that's what these guys want, the coaches and the players. We play in the same division. We've had these epic games. Bring them out here. They bring out the best in us.
I could not disagree with you more, Coach. You don't want to play a team in your division that knows you the best, knows you most, 3 times. 3 times. I'd rather play Green Bay. You dominated Green Bay out here. I wouldn't want to play Seattle 3 times.
I'll speak as a coach. When you've had that situation, they've beaten Green Bay. You worry about your team. Are they going to take it seriously? Yes, it's a championship game, but I know as a coach, if we play Seattle again, my guys, I'm going to have their attention.
Yeah, that was one of those return trips. Green Bay had been out west. They come back out west. They did not travel well when they had to come out here during the year, and they got their clock cleaned in that Sunday nighter. But you look at this Packers team now that we're going to see play tomorrow against Seattle, and they've got Aaron Jones going. You can't come in here and think you're going to get a run game going when you've seen what San Francisco just did to Minnesota.
Well, you have to try to run the ball because if you don't, this front group is just going to be dominant. Green Bay could do that, and they've got pass rushers effective defensive front. So either way, it'll be a good game. But as you say, Seattle knows these guys.
You're not going to come on the West Coast, play against this defense, and become one-dimensional.
Yeah.
You cannot win this game being one-dimensional, not able to run the football.
So in that game tomorrow up at Lambeau, what do you think the key is for Green Bay to win and come back out here?
I think it's really Aaron Jones and getting that run game going against the Seahawks front.
Well, for me, I think it's eliminating a big play in the deep half of the field. Preston Smith, Desarius Smith, they have to get going. They have to get after Russell Wilson, keep him in the pocket.
With Brady and Breeze knocked out of the playoffs at home by 6 seeds, the two quarterbacks who throw the most touchdowns in the history of the league, that happened last week. The remaining playoff experience is really those two guys, Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, who we'll see face off late tomorrow over on Fox. The winner will come here to face San Francisco in the NFC Championship game. So with that AFC Divisional playoff game kicking off at 8:15 Eastern Time, a few more minutes here with you in Santa Clara. Al and Chris will wrap this one up and wrap up the season as we continue from Santa Clara on the postgame.
Welcome back to the Volkswagen Post-Game Report. Drive bigger.
So here are the chances right now, as of the moment, to win the Super Bowl. The Niners win, so right now they're at almost 27%. Ravens are right there as well. So each of those teams about 4-1. Chiefs would be like 4.5-1. Packers would be like 8-1. Seahawks only 5.3%, almost 20-1. So you got a dark horse in that group?
I think that would be the one for sure.
Seattle?
Yeah, you know, we've seen the two games they played against the 49ers, both right down to the wire, very close games. And the Packers game, we actually did that one here, and that wasn't very close at all. I just think there's a chance that this division was far and away the best division in football. You think about the Rams and not able to get over the hump this year after going to the Super Bowl. So maybe it was just this division was so tough, has those two teams battle tested.
Either way, it'll be a lot of fun tonight, and very shortly, in fact, it'll be Baltimore at home, heavily favored to win that game and move on. Could we be heading for another Baltimore-San Francisco Super Bowl?
That was a great game down to the wire. I wouldn't mind that at all.
And the lights may stay on for that whole game, right?
That's right, yeah.
Anyway, partner, what a ride. What a ride. You know, we travel around the country, our traveling circus, Football Night in America, and Sunday Night Football. The guys and gals who bring it to you, we love you all. Fantastic work. Have a great offseason.
And now it comes to this, Soldier Field in Chicago, where the NFL's 100th season starts tonight.
I just keep thinking, would John Madden wear this?
500-1.
No, not good.
Please welcome members of the greatest team in NFL history, your 1985 World Champion Chicago Bears.
Al, back in the early days of the NFL, outfits like this were in fashion.
There's going to be a lot of nostalgia this 100th NFL season, but this may be taking it a bit too far. Sims and Florio in the old school uniforms.
Wow. Rodgers hangs in the pocket, throwing into a lot of traffic, and is caught for the touchdown by Jimmy Graham. On the field right now, the Patriots are celebrating their 6th Super Bowl titles with owner Robert Kraft and Company set to raise another championship banner.
Funky little snap.
And wide open, Philip Dorsett. Big night for him, 58 yards.
That looks like my daughter. What the heck's he doing there?
You didn't know this was coming? We got the
family out there. Sir, what you got?
See?
Hey, that's my son. Look at the family. Slow him down just a little bit, even if you hit him, whether you hit him or you just get him.
Fired, caught, Ertz.
The Eagles finally get the lead with 3:13 to play in the fourth, and they're up by 3. Off they go. Catches may get the first and a lot more. Julio Jones out in front. He's going to go up 54 yards on a 4th and 3. 4th down. Here's your ball game. And the pass is picked off in the end zone. Mahomes flushed out again all the way back. Turning the corner. Fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes.
Here we go. This is how they break things down when you get set for the game out in L.A. Chris.
Not a chance.
3rd and 8. Flip it out. Caught. Another broken tackle. And all the way into the end zone goes Connor.
We have dancing. This is just for you because I know you enjoy it. Oh, the fun's just beginning. Eagles, Cowboys.
Little flip here. Goes to Tavon Austin. Inside the 5. And he is in for the touchdown.
Rodney tackled me in a rehearsal today. We can't show it to you because we're out of time. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Here's the video.
I slam him.
And if you haven't seen Lamar Jackson, you are in for a treat. This guy leads the league in oohs and ahs. Rolling out. Jackson stops on a dime. Slides past Van Noy. That's a video game right there.
You know, what do you say? I mean, it's just a guy who's a better athlete than everybody else on the field.
With eyes downfield, great protection, wide open. George Kittle inside the 10. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Coming up in the halftime, Tony Rodney are going to break down the first half. And the first half in.
Everyone grab a turkey leg and tell me how it is. Get in there.
Little trickery here. Hopkins and more trickery to Watson. Touchdown. Oh, baby. Like a 4x100 relay.
Perfectly executed.
Wow.
I'll see you, coach.
And Gurley swings to the outside. Stiff arm into the end zone. He goes for the touchdown. Put his hand on Trey Flowers and said, get out of here.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations to all of you and to all of Newtown. Hopefully they'll put up the biggest state champion sign ever for any city. These guys deserve it. Congratulations, Newtown High School, Connecticut State champs.
Mahomes is going to go the other way. He's going to keep it. He's going to take it to the end zone. Touchdown, Chiefs. 1st and goal. Lynch. Touchdown.
I've heard that sound before.
Marshawn Lynch. And here we go. And Wilson throws. Caught. And it is going to be Hollister.
Looks short to me. Say it was across the line. Holy cow. What a way for the 100th year to end.
It's Drake Greenlaw right there, who will be the major hero. Look at this. Carson Wentz, who went to the medical tent, is going to the locker room. Wow. So Lynch is in. 1st and goal from the 5. Marshawn Lynch. And can he fight his way in? Yes, he can. Here come the Eagles. And Wilson's going to go deep downfield, and you've got an open man in Metcalf to the 50-yard line. And that, in all likelihood, will write a finish to this one.
NBC Sports thanks you for watching this special presentation of the National Football League, celebrating 100 seasons.